Hello and welcome to another edition of the Backtime Report. My name is Carlos Torres, who along with Altvater, we check in on the world of golf to bring you the latest news, insights, analysis, interviews, recaps, previews. Hey, we cover anything and everything golf. In other words, if it happened in golf, we have it for you. Fred, hi, how are you today?
Hey, Carlos, I'm fantastic. I just want to mention real quick, we haven't mentioned for a while, but, we also do Ohio Golf Journal, Michigan Golf Journal. You can find those at ohiogolfjournal.com, michigangolfjournal.com. Ohio Golf Journal, the August issue just came out today. We got some really good features in there. You may want to check that out. So just wanted to get a plug in there for that, Carlos. And, we saw kind of a unique thing with the Olympics just over. Towards the beginning of the games, we saw Simone Biles have some issues. And I know that's something that you want to talk a little bit about.
Yeah, I would like to see if we can talk a little bit about the mental health, mental issues that we have been seeing. And I started to research a little bit about this because we see about this elite athletes all of a sudden starting to hear more about it. And it's interesting because this could be a game changer moving forward. Approximately 46.6 million people are living in with mental health illness in the US. You know, that is 1 in 5 adults who will be living with a mental health condition at some point in their lives. Many manage these symptoms with therapy, medication, eating a healthy diet, or exercise. Research has shown that the benefits of exercise can boost moods and improve overall mental health. By moving our bodies, we can increase our endorphins and enkephalins, which are two of the body's naturally producing hormones that make us feel better. We have heard about them, but it also allows us time to concentrate on ourselves instead of our busy lives, as much needed break many needs of us. However, playing sports does not make athletes immune to mental health challenges. So with the pressures to perform in the game, as well as in the rest of their public lives, because they become a public persona at the time. Any privacy is gone when they do that. So being an athlete can be incredibly challenging for a person's mental health. There's a lot of pressure we don't see, especially student athletes. They have additional pressures to maintain because then they have also great classworks and grades on top of practice and games. When athletes get hurt, they receive time to heal, but what about when those injuries are invisible? You know, with young adults, especially college athletes, I read that the statistics are startling. 33% of all college students experience significant symptoms of depression, anxiety, or other mental health conditions. And among that group, only 30% seek help. But of college athletes with mental conditions, only 10% do. So among professional athletes, then that same data shows that up to 35% of the elite athletes suffer from mental health crisis, which may manifest as stress, eating disorders, burnout, or depression, or anxiety. You know, we are inspired when we see such Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps, the USC volleyball player Victoria Garrick, NBA player Kevin Love, and those that were telling the stories before this Olympics and inspiring others to support, to help, to seek help to support the cause. Then it came Naomi Osaka earlier on with the pressure that she revealed in tennis that she had any time that she would talk to the press. And nobody knew about this, and she was going to get fined by not doing those interviews that are mandatory in tennis and the tennis majors. And she decided to, I'm going to take a break. So now mental health took center stage in the Olympics, especially with what you're talking about, Simone Biles. And she wasn't the only one. There was other players that came out also with that. And especially when Simone Biles came out with it, that's when everything changed in the Olympics. And I think it has been a changer on how we're viewing athletes, because seeing maybe the greatest of all time in gymnastics say, I'm going to stand down and not participate because I have to take care of my mental health. That is something that you have to say what it means to her to be there and just not being able to perform when the Olympics are the pinnacle of the gymnastics competition. that really brings your attention to it. Fred, we all know about the Tiger Woods. Whoever saw the Tiger Woods documentary, the two episodes that they did, we learn about how Eldrick, his father, was always telling him and teaching him to try to be mental tough. The things that he did to make him really, really mentally tough. And we know now what has happened to him. I mean, it made him focus on golf and be this robotic persona, but it really takes some other things behind that. And we're seeing that athletes definitely, the negative effects are really, really tough. So, Fred, what's your take on it? I mean, it's something that we're going to be seeing more about. Is this something that is going to be a game changer on how we view the athlete's mental health?
Carlos, I consider myself a little bit of an expert in this a little bit. Okay. Number one, from a coaching standpoint, working with golfers for a long time and seeing golfers for a long time, and seeing young kids that are really good golfers when they're young and they're playing for fun and they're having a good time. But as they get better and better and more pressure is put on them to win and do better and to play in college or all these different things, it doesn't compute with some kids. It just doesn't work. Their mindset cannot comprehend that. Annika Sorenstam, perfect example. She would lose tournaments when she was real young because she didn't want to have to deal with the ceremony at the end, with speaking or being in front of a microphone. She did not want that. She couldn't handle it. We've seen Michael Phelps come out and say, he had a lot of trouble. Serena Williams says that she has battled depression her whole life. Simone Biles, this is what, her fourth Olympics. So she's been under pressure since probably a 5 or 6 year old, because she did so well at a certain sport to excel and work on every fine point and do it every day. They don't take a day off. They work out every day. They feel like they have to do that. And that pressure just mounts. And she said she was having trouble. Her mind was not letting her just accept the routine and do it. She was thinking about all the bad things that could happen and she couldn't get away from it. Well, every athlete knows you have to be positive. You have to focus in on what you want to do and no negatives. So going back to being a golfer, I played with someone today who yesterday on Sunday had one of the best rounds of golf he's ever played in his life. Everything went perfect. Chipping, putting, driving. He's been hitting a driver poorly for about 3 months. Yesterday it worked perfectly. Iron play, everything was spot on. He was so pumped up, he couldn't stop texting me last night. Today we played and he's still pumped up. He's riding that high. He couldn't hit. He lost 10 golf balls today. Okay. Hit it in the ponds, hit it over the road, hit it everywhere, but where he wanted to, chip shots. And it's just, so that pressure to perform for any athlete is always there. Then the other part of this, Carlos, I raised 5 kids. I've got grandkids, and we played sports, and they all go through different things at different times, and pressures get to them. And so we have to know when that's happening as parents to talk them through those things and get them to see the other side of issues, to see they're not the only ones this is happening to. This is a normal course of life, just something you have to deal with. But we've never had a child that was so adept at one sport that just wanted to do it only. As a matter of fact, I always talked against that and made sure that they did other things and didn't concentrate on just one thing all the time. And I think we see that a lot with kids today, Carlos. They're really good at golf at 5, 6, 8, 10 years old, and boom, they're right in that track. Then they don't do anything else. So all the great athletes, Jack Nicklaus played a lot of different sports. You don't have to just get locked into one thing. And I think that's what we see with a lot of these world-class athletes, especially Olympic caliber. and they're so young, Carlos, and they have to they focus in on every little piece. And with all the data today and all the computers and all the stuff and all the fitness and all the nutrition and on and on and on, it's a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week occupation for them. Forget about the press, forget about the media and all the attention they get, just focusing on what they have to do to be successful. It would break anybody's mind, Carlos.
It would, but then the conundrum is, so what are they going to do? Because you have to make sure that you perform. To perform at that elite level is those that are mentally tough, the ones that are going to rise above the rest. But how can we help those elite sports competitors take better care of their mental health? As fans, maybe accepting that when they finally say, I'm having an issue, don't criticize them. That's the first thing that I would say, because that's the first thing that happened. We would see people in support of them, but then you would see all this other social media people, criticizing and bombarding them. You're just weak, and they don't understand, those negative effects that it has, because then they think about that risk of failure, right? That's going to lead that to the poor mental health as well. They have to deal with the risk of injury. Am I eating the right thing? Am I doing it too much? There's a burnout coming, and that leads to other things that are going to come in sports. Unfortunately, also we have heard about reports of psychological abuse. Maybe you can say that the father of Tiger Woods maybe was doing that, but hey, that's a fine line there. Will this Olympics be changing how we view them? I think we'll be seeing and listening more about the mental health support system working behind the scene for athletes. Not only the physical support system that they have, but now I think that is going to take more of a center stage as well. Many years ago, people seeking counseling were often viewed as, you're weak, indecisive, you're incapable of dealing with life, you're irresponsible, among other things that they would say. And those sort of responses were exacerbated in sports psychology because of the prevailing view that only the weak and insecure athlete would seek psychological assistance. If you are not able to do it, then you are not going to be that elite competitor. So to me, it's important that high-profile athletes, Olympic GOATs like Michael Phelps and Simone Biles, address athletes' mental health. Because when other athletes and fans as well, aspiring athletes as well, hearing the mental health message from two of the greatest competitors to ever play sports, lends instant credibility into the minds of other superstars. Then they say, I can also talk about it. I can be more open about this. I can actually go and seek help about it. Something that would have been thought, that's a weak guy. I don't want him there. So that these superstars are capable of moments of weaknesses and vulnerabilities add a very important element of humanity to this whole process. And it's going to help us understand a little bit more about this. And that's why I think the importance of this right now in the Tokyo Olympics, that Simone Biles came out with this and express it. I think that we should be able to be more understanding and help, because at the end, I think it'll be better for the athletes moving forward, how we can help them deal with the mental health illnesses.
Yeah, Carlos, anytime an individual becomes completely solely minded in the pursuit of a single goal, overall mental health can be an issue. What if it all comes to a sudden end due to an injury? A younger competitor goes around them and takes the sponsor money. Age is a tremendous foe. Age has never been beaten yet. It's totally undefeated. The superior athletes are so dedicated, and they have to have tunnel vision, but they have to find a balance in their life as well, something that keeps them sane. Only the very, very best obtain a gold, silver, or bronze. What happens when that spotlight and the training is over? Maybe they didn't achieve what they wanted. What happens then? We see the bright lights, the ones that are right up there. What about all the ones that go home now? Did they say, oh, this was great that I got to be in that? Now I've got, I'll go find a job, or I'll go do whatever I want to do, or I'm going to train for the next one harder, or whatever. But, they've got to figure out where they're going next. Do they have a career? They've been so busy training that they haven't really a way of making money now. And maybe their sponsor money is gone now that the Olympics has gone over. So that's why it's so imperative that children are involved in many different sports, and even not sports, but other activities, not just get locked in on one thing, Carlos. We need balance. Everybody needs balance. So that's really all I've got to say on it. I just think parents have to be really cognizant of what their children are doing, even when they become adults over 18. These issues can still pop up, and especially from, I would say, age 16 to about age 25, because there's a lot of pressure on a person at that age group. You're meeting maybe your spouse, you're going to college, you're getting your first job, there's a lot of stuff that happens then that parents really can earn their money watching their children then, and not just saying, okay, you're over 18 now, you're on your own. It's a continuing deal, Carlos. You know what they say, bigger kids, just bigger problems. And that's, anybody that has kids, they know that.
All I would say is, we have to make sure that it's their dream that they're seeking and not ours, because otherwise it'll be added pressure. I have to do this for dad. I have to do it. I have to make sure that it happens. So if they actually are the ones who want it, they'll be able to deal with the things that are coming. We just have to be supportive in the journey throughout and not put added pressure to them. So anyway, it's something that I'm sure we're going to be talking more as it keeps more athletes coming with it. And I'm sure this is not going to be the last time we'll be talking about mental illness. But thank you for joining us. If you want to keep up to date with the latest in golf news and information, all you have to do is subscribe to our channel, and also follow us on Twitter, our Back Nine Report, @Back9Report with the number 9 in the middle. Thank you for joining us.